was
we
just,
ready?
that was just to me and
Ready.
Carol and she.
Yeah.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We get a motion to approve the agenda.
I have one addition,
Okay.
and you might not have got it today because my service was locked up. So you might have got it this morning, but Dick Walters is going to talk about the display case for the county shop. Because he needs board approval, so I would like to add it to the action item.
Well, I was gonna say, action item for King Cabinetry for $2,467.07
Yes,
for the display case. And that would come out of contingency fund for the highway building.
that's up to the board, but he needs approval.
Yep.
So he is, can I put him on the agenda?
Number 3.
Number 3.
And then just so you guys know, there were a couple other changes to the agenda. One is the addition of accepting the resignation and retirement of Donald Moore and thanking him for his years of service to the county. That's number 6 on the consent agenda. And then on number 2 on action items, we're gonna have Chairperson Myrie sign the grant agreement. So those were just the other 2 edits. Should have added on the King Cabinetry, but I forgot about that already.
But 6 is on here. Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mhm.
No. Yes, on our
On the
new
backside.
agenda.
No,
It's on the back
Is
side,
it?
right at the very top.
oh, it is still on there.
It's on the new
Okay.
agenda. I always run the old one.
Well, I was looking for it too, but now it popped out, almost hit me in the face.
On the back.
There you go. Gets confusing, doesn't it, Bob?
I know.
So with those changes, you made a motion there, Teresa, or
Yes,
second? That?
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Approve the previous board minutes from board meeting February 22nd, 22.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. I think they're well done.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Public comment. Anybody here got anything to say right now? All right, moving on. Appointments. Gotta wait a few minutes for ABC Woodland program update, correct? Should we wait till, are they all here?
They're here.
Should we do it?
Yep.
All right,
Get her done.
come on up here and we'll get you guys taken care of right away.
Guys, just stand or sit?
Sit down.
Just relax.
Get comfortable. Yep. you're on mic.
All right, well, good morning. So we're going to do some quick introductions. My name is Wayne Stenberg, Executive Director of the Building Community. Hi, Teresa.
There are many years.
Been a few years, hasn't it? Great
Yes.
to be here. So we'll do some quick introductions and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Houston County.
Hi, I'm Judy Johnson, and I'm the program director for ABC programs in Houston County, including Woodland Industries and ABC Works.
I'm Sammy Sherry. I'm the program manager at Woodland Industries.
All right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and give a quick update of our partnership in Houston County. Today, we just want to say thank you for your partnership and give you a quick update. In Houston County, we have 72 full and part-time employees and serve over 130 people with a variety of physical, emotional, and mental disabilities in La Crescent and Caledonia. ABC provides rec and leisure programs and personal people work, which we provide contract work, employment supports, where we have partnerships with businesses such as schools, Subway, Pepsi, and others. We also have independent housing services that provide an opportunity for people to be successful at home by helping to develop independent life skills. And we also have a day support and services program in La Crescent. We have 2 supervised homes located in the Crescent as well as Spring Grove. We also have 2 sites in Caledonia, ABC Works at 73 Pine Street and Woodland Industries at 421 Old Highway Drive. We've partnered with Houston County at Woodland since 1990. Quite a while. Being located at the Houston County building has been a great partnership over the years. And partnering with us through county funding has been extremely appreciated. At this time, I'd like to give Sandy the opportunity to give you an update of what's happening at our Woodland Industries site. Sandy?
Okay, I just wanted to also say thank you for the Houston County continued support. We're currently serving 37 individuals at Woodland, 10 of whom are supported with your county funding. Without the county funding, those individuals would not have vocational supports. The funding received helps us support these individuals at community job sites like Mikan, Quillens, Caledonia Public Schools, Good Times, the Houston County Recycling Center, and the Crescent Animal Care. Some of the supports we provide are job training and safety training, assistance with employee and employer communication, and ensuring that tasks are completed to the employer's expectations. Our goal at Woodland is to maximize the potential of each individual at being as independent as possible in their community. Last year, we successfully transitioned 2 individuals independent competitive employment, so they no longer require Woodland supports or county funding. And if you guys have any questions about Woodland, no? Then Judy's gonna do an update about our fundraiser we have coming up.
So I'd like,
Wait. As far as Woodland is concerned, of the 37, are there additional opportunities available in the county? Is this strictly in Caledonia, or you go outside the rest of the county too?
We, at Woodland, we serve people from Spring Grove and Houston.
Okay.
And, I'm trying to think, Oka.
all Houston County
Right,
residents.
right, so anybody that would wanna come from Houston County could, but those are the other
And
3.
then as far as your position, you contact businesses periodically to see if they need any that would be willing to support?
Yeah.
You have a lot of other businesses in other towns that are hiring your people too, or is it just mostly Caledonia?
So we are currently at Subway in the Crescent. Now we're cleaning for the city of Houston also. But other than that, we're mostly in Caledonia, but yeah, we could go anywhere pretty much.
And that's a one-on-one type basis, one
Some of them
employee and
are,
one client.
some of them are 1 to 2s.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo the thank you again for your support of serving people at Woodland. And I'm going to talk about what we're doing to also raise money. We're having a fundraiser May 7th called Racing for Abilities. And it's going to be the same day as the Kentucky Derby. It's going to be at LC in Caledonia. So from 1 to 6, we're going to have a best cat contest. We're going to have food, drinks, some games. So if you're not busy, come on down. And I do have a flyer to pass out so you don't forget.
Good.
Save the date.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
I know John's here today, so I just want to say thank you for John for helping us get this set up and meeting with you and having opportunity. It's for us, as a team.
I think you do a very good job. Thank you.
Well, Judy, from your perspective as a program director, that's all of ABC Woodland?
Yeah, it's all the programs in Houston County. So we also have ABC Works where we have 2 sites, Caledonia and La Crescent. Woodland and Caledonia, we have 2 houses, one in Spring Grove, one in La Crescent. And then we do in-home supports too. So
And where's your office located?
mainly I'm in La Crescent.
Same as that would.
I guess my question is,
How many folks are out at Mikan right now? Approximately,
Right, we currently have 3 people up there right now.
besides, the rumbles are you gonna be able to find some place for them when and if the move happens?
Yeah, we're hoping to, 2 of the individuals that work up at Mikan right now are also employed at Quillen's. So hopefully they can pick up some more hours and if they want.
Sounds good.
From a housing point of view, is that like a group home type situation or independent housing?
Yeah, so the house in La Crescent ABC owns, and we serve 1 person there, and the house in Spring Grove is owned by a family member, and we just provide the 24/7 supervision and programming
Okay. So it's just
2 individuals.
2 sites so far. You anticipate expansion?
That's when we can get more staff.
Everybody needs staff.
Everybody's looking for staff.
How far down are you overall? Say
In
a couple of
Houston
years ago.
County, we are down 11 positions.
What was the max number that you had? That 11 from the max number that,
72 plus 11.
Yeah.
so that is the max.
Oh, 83 is gonna be, that would have been pre-COVID,
Yeah.
back in 2019. I think overall, we're down about, talking about agency-wide, we're down about 50. A lot of those are the entry-level positions that are DSP level, direct support professionals. That's not uncommon. I think a lot of people are the same. way.
Yeah.
We've actually raised our wages in the last year. So our starting wage is right at $15 for our DSPs, and it goes up from there. Well, it's been a big investment in our staff. And that's helped, but we haven't closed the gap yet, and we still have the gap in Houston County as well.
Everybody's getting forced in that position. Otherwise, you're not gonna get anybody.
Right.
Correct.
And we're pretty lucky at Woodland. We've had consistent staff, so we're doing pretty good there.
Dedicated, yep.
So what are your major funding sources?
Well, right now, probably our biggest one would be our federal funding. So that's- We also have, money that we get through philanthropy. So it's about $500,000 a year. That's through partnerships, through grants, different things like that. Also state funding. So state would be very large, DEED, we heard of that.
Mhm.
So those dollars funneling into the agency really support us. When we were pre-COVID, we were about $13 million. And then went into COVID, we went down to about 8. Now we're back up. This last year, we just wrapping up our audit for the year. We're just a little over 11, so we're still about 2 million shy of where we need to be. So you can think about that. We continue to ramp up. About something around that 180 mark of employees. And our programs are continuing to open up, and we continue to get people that we serve. And we're really careful about when we add an employee, we want to make sure that we can bring in more individuals at that point. So sometimes we have 1-to-1, sometimes we have 1-to-4 when we're out in the community. 1-to-4 in community or in the building, maybe 1-to-6. So the ratios are all dependent on the program that we have. So we have our Rec at Leisure program. That's doing well. We got some great outings for this summer planned down here. I know they're going to the Loggers game, right? Some boat trips. We actually, up in Rochester, we were able to go to our first All of America trip since COVID. So sea life. So that's, that was exciting. It was just nice to get out.
Yes,
So,
yes.
And then some of our CARES Act money that we received, we expanded some of our footprints outside. So we put some cement pads outside that we can have, and we're looking at doing that down here in Caledonia as well. And we made our buildings COVID friendly. There is such a term. So if you think about those high touch points, and we had people that were in offices that were 2 and 3 deep. We were able to spread those out. That was not a healthy environment with the mask and everything. The 6-foot distancing. So some of those dollars used to expand our footprint internally and externally as well. And we purchased a lot of masks and a lot of cleaning
Mhm.
material over the last. I'm sure you've seen the budget, right? With Houston County, probably everybody did the same thing. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we're here.
Thank you.
We
you.
celebrated 65 years last year.
Awesome.
Well, I always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. This may be the next.
This is the closest thing to it. Are you gonna wear one of them big hats, you know?
Well, if you got a hat
That's the
contest.
ladies.
Get your hat.
That's the ladies thing, is the hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
No,
Very
you
good,
very
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Let's move on to the consent agenda. Anybody want any changes there or anything they want? I'd like to mention number 6, Donnie Moore for his 37 years, I think, or 34 years of service. Wow. A long time. Thank you, Don.
With regard to all these account powers granted, is that just a single signature, Carol,
Have, Donna, you want to touch on that?
or Donna?
Yep, I sure can. What happened was, oh, there you go. Okay, what happened was when Bremer was going to close, and announced they were gonna close, Holly contacted me, Holly Felton from zoning, and those accounts that she had down at the Bremer Bank, we knew we had to do something with those, so we went over to merchants, we opened up the accounts, and then had to get this, signature cards and everything for them. So there's 3 accounts here: Recycling Center, Houston County Recycling, and Houston Dump Site Aluminum Purchase. So we're all down at the Bremer Bank, and those are now switched to Merchants Bank, and checks have been ordered. And then the other 2 accounts, the Caledonia Supervised Dump Site account and the Springfield Aluminum Purchase account, were already at Merchants Bank, but we come to find out that we needed to get the signature cards updated. And so with that, I just decided to do resolutions for all of them because they were a whole different signers. And then with the new 3 additional ones, we had to get that updated as well. So it's just accounts that we had previously, but we reopened them all up at Merchants, the 3 new ones, and then along with the 2 that we changed signatures on.
It's all the same people, the same individuals for signing on all of them, right?
The same individuals, except one did not provide the data, private data that they needed for the bank, so he was not allowed to sign on the signature card. So now there's just 2 of them on there and a couple of them, so that's the only difference.
Which is okay because there's still enough people to sign.
Correct, yep.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with a special thank you for Donnie Moore.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Consent agenda, any more discussion? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, she carries. Action. Consider approving an offsite gambling permit on behalf of the Lancer Youth Hockey Association, 520 South 14th Street, La Crescent, Minnesota, for gambling activities to be conducted at the barn on South Ridge at 744-2 County 25, La Crescent, Minnesota, in Mount Prairie Township, with no waiting period, and adopt a resolution number 2217. Donna.
Okay, so commissioners, this is just a change of location, and this had they already had a excuse me, a gambling permit, but they switched locations because I think, oh, I know what it was. The hockey, the ice, the places in lacrosse are closing down, so they wanted to keep the La Crescent one open for events, so they decided to move the location of this gambling event. And we checked with the state and everything was perfect. And they just had to fill out this form and get the approval from the county and from the township. So it's just a change of location for this year.
They're moving this to Fred Sandvik's, aren't they?
Yes.
Mhm.
They have multiple satellites also that throughout the area. So
Mhm.
but I think this be something like that. One, Donna?
What was that? What was that?
I guess, is this just a satellite or is this the main address? You're changing it from the 14th to County 25 address, is that?
This should be the main, this should be the real address, as far as I know.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Mhm.
The barn on South Ridge is called.
I move to approve the gambling permit for Lancer Youth Hockey.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the youth hockey. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries. Number two,
Thank you,
consider
Commissioner.
approving- What was that now?
Thank you.
Consider approving the First Children's Finance Memorandum of Agreement for the Rural Child Care and Invitation Program Grant, authorizing Chairperson Myrie's signature.
Yep, so this is just the grant contract with First Children's Finance. This is for the childcare grant that we got awarded. I've already had a couple initial meetings with them. We're gonna start meeting with the core group in July, the way it sounds, so.
So you're getting people organized and.
We
who's
already
gonna
have
be-
the core group set up.
Oh, you do?
And then once we set a date, I'll make sure that they all know
Yep.
when to come.
Okay,
And Bob is gonna serve on that core group too. Thank you, Bob. for that.
Yep.
So,
good.
Questions?
Move to approve.
I'll second it.
Been a motion, and a second, to approve the First Child's Financing Memorandum Agreement. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, carries. Okay, board updates.
No, we got
Dick Walters.
the addition,
Sorry.
yeah.
Let me get done.
I'm sorry, Teresa.
I put that on the, well, Eric, this is Eric's thing.
All right, Mr. Walters, would you please come up here?
Come on down.
Let's see.
I'm sorry, I screwed up and missed you for a second.
246707.
Everybody get the
Pictures?
pictures and price from
Okay.
Luke King.
Yep.
Okay. And the pictures of the trophy that he had done for the high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to start it off? Terry?
Oh, we had some discussions at our workshop about this cabinetry for displaying the historical survey equipment.
Yeah, surveying
Yep.
equipment that was used in the past.
Yep.
And was still there. I even made a scale drawing of
Okay,
the way it would be.
yep.
So, yes, I,
And
I've done
Dick and I were discussing that to go out and look for quotes from people to do this and that they should probably have insurance because, you know, they break that piece of glass, that's $500. So, I mean,
500 to 1,000.
it's 1,000, everything's
That's what
double.
Luke told me. He got the price on the
Crazy.
glass alone.
Really, yeah, so, I said, that's fine, let's pursue that, and this is what Dick's
And
come up with here.
I bet I called 10 places.
All over.
At least. And probably 7 of them never called me back. And Luke, I talked to Luke earlier, but he had not gotten back to me, so it was like, and then Teresa came up with the idea, maybe Wayfair. So I was able to find something similar, but not exactly what we wanted. And then Luke finally got back to me and said, yep, I got the price put together. I found out the glass price. and everything. So you gentlemen all know what that's gonna cost, so. I told him I would call him after the meeting, let him know yes or no.
So besides the cabinetry, are we gonna frame some of those pictures that you had too far on the wall?
Hey, Great idea.
We already went and bought frames.
This is very cool. So I got a couple more. But this is the one, 2 pictures of Brownsville, right at the wall area.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that
And the
beautiful?
wall is still there. That's cool.
Well, the dirt from it is there.
Wow.
That's 1960,
Cool.
1962, 63.
We went Saturday to get frames and you've been working on that to label them.
And then they can be, you can buy the stickies that you can just put on the back and they stick on the wall and you can take them off and they don't leave any marks or
Oh,
anything.
good. Yep.
Commander thing.
That's good.
Oh, yeah,
That's the other way.
that's the dirt. A lot of dirt. Yes. People will remember that.
Thank you.
So you're taking care of the
Yeah.
framing then, Dick?
I am.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
He is
Jack
help.
of all trades.
Teresa's helping you, I'm sure.
So
So.
do you, we paying for the framing, or are we gonna buy the framing for you, or what's?
Just the
plan
frames. And I,
yeah, no. I'll donate my time, okay?
there? Well, that's up to you.
It keeps them out of mischief.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It really was very interesting.
This would be out of contingency fund you were commenting earlier?
Yeah, for the highway shop, I
Yeah.
think that's
for the display cabinet.
for the display cabinet.
Luke said it would be, what it's gonna be is it's gonna be 4 feet wide. It's gonna be 8 feet tall. And it's gonna be about 18 inches deep. And then there'll be a 1-footer on the bottom
To bring it up.
to bring it up, so you're not looking right at the ground.
And then you're gonna have glass shelving too, correct?
And it's glass shelving. And the way they bracket it, it'll hold up to 48 pounds. So I think the heaviest instrument I had seen was about 20 pounds. So, and yeah, they'll be glass. It's all tempered glass. So that's a big deal too, because somebody bumps it, they're not gonna break it.
It'll have a lock on the bottom.
It has
The
I
glass.
believe it has a lock on the bottom. I told him 2 things. We wanted it to be able to light it and to lock it. Because it'll be sliding glass doors.
We're sliding doors. It's not an open.
No, I think a 4-foot span on glass, I really don't. It seemed like everybody I talked to, it all ended up being the split and sliding.
2-foot pieces then.
Yep.
Did he give you a timeline?
He said that it's like 5 weeks to get the glass order. He said in the meantime, when he gets it ordered, he would build the frame and everything. So I'm really thinking about maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. And he'll install it and everything. I do have a question for Carol. Carol, does he have to, on the bill, have to put tax? Or no tax, just. Okay. Okay, so I should tell him. To get his certificate.
Yeah, because he doesn't have tax in this estimate here, so.
That'd be good.
I move for the approval of the purchase for the highway department display case.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on buying a split case for the highway shop. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Carrie, even Teresa voted for it.
She wants to keep you busy.
246707. Thank you, Dick.
Yeah, you bet. One other thing I just wanted to bring up is does anybody remember Glenn Hines?
You bet.
He's the only one I know of that ever died working on a highway project or any county project. Isn't that right?
Mhm.
Well, I
He
got,
was running a roller.
yep, I got a hold through Sheila, I got a hold of the obituary, the funeral arrangement thing, and the picture of outside of St. John's Church, where they line up all the trucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for his funeral.
Yeah.
I remember that 1990. Like, so what I'm thinking of doing is getting that frame and hung on the wall.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Okay,
Very good. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you.
just do it for the.
It's not that you love it or anything, no?
You know, this has been really exciting, because I ended up like, you know, when I have only so much ability, but I'm good at getting other people to help me with my inabilities. And I got a hold of-
Tammy told me the same thing.
I got a hold of an old friend of mine who I knew was a kind of a survey historian nut. And he found out, I sent him pictures of all the instruments and the serial numbers. And he went online and found the company, and serial numbers went from by years, you know, they would change like 5 numbers. Anyway, he found out that all 6 of the instruments, the oldest one was the Dumpy Level, which was 1927. That was gotta be one of the very first instruments. And then there was a 1941, 1960, you know, 75, things like, so that was pretty cool.
Well, it's good that you do this, Dick, because
Historic.
yes,
It is.
nobody else is going to do it unless someone steps up like you to do that, because, you know, as we get further and further in our generations, we kind of lose our
And
historical.
it is historical stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
cool. So,
I got a surveyor and a tripod too. I'll show you if it's anything that can help maintain history.
Okay.
Came from MnDOT.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yes, I'd be interested.
Wooden
Okay.
box and everything.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.
thank you.
Dick.
No, did I forget anybody? We got any more? Move on to board updates. I guess I have one announcement here is March, this township elections. It's set for Tuesday, March 8th. Most polls are open from 5 to 8. Houston County Courthouse will be open Saturday from 10 to 3 on March 5th. Everybody hear that?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Planning and zoning meeting last Thursday night, went fairly well. We passed 3 of them and tabled 1. I think we'll be able to get them all done here eventually. Just gotta do some stuff different. Let's see, I haven't had any that I can think of right offhand. So that's about all I got for you guys. Commissioner reports. Who wants to start? Teresa, you want to be first today?
I was going to elaborate on that March 8th Township Day because they have their annual meeting that day, each township does. And that's where the people set the levy for the townships. So it's really important for people to realize what's going on in their township because they set their own levy. And you remember those days, do we? And Eric,
Yeah.
me too. I usually am the moderator for the annual meeting.
Yep.
And also I'm heading to St. Paul tomorrow for the legislative conference. And we also have our state extension meeting that day too, and honoring the three clubs that will be awarded, 4-H clubs that will be awarded their not their grant, but their acknowledgement for their projects.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay, Bob?
I don't have a whole lot to report. I'm working as far as the west parking lot, getting some things resolved on that, seeing if we can get some area expanded or not. I also attended that planning and zoning meeting because it had something to do with my district, so I was listening in on that. Like Greg said, it went pretty well. He handled it nicely. And I've got several Zoom meetings with different legislators for the Selco Meet the Legislators meetings that I'll be going to, Greg Davids and Jeremy Miller. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot to report.
Speaking of Zoom meeting, I think each of our policy meetings on Thursday, you can Zoom in.
Yeah, I plan on doing the Zoom on
And you should have,
like
each
maybe-
one should get their own.
Eric?
I had 2 meetings yesterday, 2 Zoom meetings. First one was with Brian and Justin with Mount Prairie Township to go over some estimates on different proposals on taking care of that road up in Mount Prairie that they got the grant for. And a lot of discussion. They just have to make a decision in here now in the next few days to which way they want to go. So it's moving along. It's moving along a little slow, but I think, they want to get it right. So hopefully we can get something going there and get that road fixed this year rather than another year. So
Our involvement is still minimal. Basically
it's just
reviewing.
minimal to help them with to go through the list of what's required by the grant from the state. So, yeah. And Brian's careful not to go too far because of liability reasons. So.
Uh-huh.
And then yesterday afternoon, we had a department head meeting. And Donna covered what we just voted on here for the resolutions for changing of the accounts. We also brought up a fact on what's coming up for elections, and I've been getting some calls on that too, with some concerns on these poll pads that we purchased in 2019. And so I've been talking with Donna that I think we gotta just, be open and transparent on what these things do and what they're not doing. So we'll have to address that in the future here, and hopefully with training and the people that have called me, I've encouraged them to get involved, become judges or witnesses or whatever, so they can see the process work. So
They're actually for the rosters, aren't they?
it's for the roster,
Rosters,
right.
yeah, they
It's
don't
it's to
vote on it.
replace the roster, but
Mhm.
Don and I have discussed with maybe the possibility for the first time to have both, just to see, just to compare, I don't know, let's just talk, we'll see what happens, but given what's been out there the last time around, there's going to be a lot more scrutiny, I think. So I think the best way to tackle this is to be open and transparent in how the process works. And if they want to get involved, bring it. That'd be good to have
Yeah.
more people involved to see it work. So
Good.
Andy brought up, of course, everybody knows what's going on with the Russia and Ukraine thing and to be super diligent on our computers here and don't touch anything that looks suspicious at all
Mhm.
because there's cyber warfare going on. So keeps them up at night. So and he does have some more ideas for possibilities of ARPA usage of funds, but I don't want to get into that yet because he hasn't gotten any more details on it. But let's see, anything else? Mary said she's only one there this week, so she's busy, but it's not too bad either. She'll be able to keep up. So John was there, talked about the I see, John, you're on. You want to talk about what you talked about yesterday? You probably can explain it better than I can.
Yeah, I just gave an update on the bids or quotes that you asked for with the projects we were looking for, the electronic document management system and child-friendly camera and recording equipment. What I reported yesterday, and I still need to finalize, is we may not be able to use federal reimbursement that we typically use for purchases like that in addition to ARPA, because they're two federal sources. Where there may be a caveat in that is if we're looking at that as a use of lost revenue. And so I'm just trying to hammer that out. I'll visit more with Carol, visit more with Sam about that as well. But it could potentially double the cost that I initially told you about as it relates to ARPA, because I was considering, we get about 50% reimbursement on the EDMS project, and we could get 15% on the, roughly 15% on the child-friendly room. So if we can't use both of those federal sources, it would be a larger ask for ARPA.
Good.
We just got, just this morning, got an updated quote for the child-friendly equipment, and actually it went up very minimally. So that was encouraging to see.
How long is the quote good for?
I didn't look at that, but I know the last one was good for 60 days. So the last quote was just a shade under 25. This one was like 26. So, you know, the ballpark estimate I used when we discussed this last week was 30,000. So that's a little better. And I'm hoping to iron out the reimbursement and how that will work or interact or not interact with ARPA funds. I want to make sure what we're doing there isn't going to put us in a position where we have an audit hit.
Is the 26,000 installed or just the equipment?
Installed.
I know we've talked about this office space study, or what is this called again? That 50,000 figure we were guesstimating. Space study or whatever.
Space utilization study.
Yep. So.
We haven't gotten any firm or any more numbers on.
Right. Right. Are we pursuing quotes for those as well, or?
So.
That'd be something for Tess to look into, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was something Tess was riding herd on, since it's
Yep.
A larger issue than just the public health and human services space.
Yep. All right. Also yesterday, Donna, thanks, John.
You bet.
Donna brought up how well Cat's doing and bringing things up to date. You want to touch on that, Donna?
Sure can. Yeah, she's not only really keeping up with documents, but she's catching up on, there was like a 2-year backlog on the card files in the office, and she's pretty much all finished up with that now. And she's also been really filling in on the License Center. Without her, yesterday they had a huge day, probably the biggest day they've had in a long time at the License Center, and she's gone over there and helped out. She's got all that background, so it's really nice we're very lucky down here to have her as a backup for the License Center, because Nikki's been on vacation. She comes back tomorrow, so she's been over there helping a lot. Without her, I don't know how well we would have done, because it's been really busy at the License Center. So she's done really well. And
And also,
a lot of compliments on Heidi, our new staff member at the License Center. Yep, she's done a great job handling everything, and she's so experienced, and we're very fortunate to have both of those gals over there right now.
So Donna, on the License Center, when people have to sign in, is there I know that it was done to have an orderly process, but is that also done to record people that have been there, or what is the?
No, actually, for signing in, it's kind of, when people come up to it's nice to not have them all standing, in the office and listening to everybody's conversation. So when somebody comes up to go to the License Center, if they don't sign in, then people are walking in front of everybody else, and they're going.
No, I understand that. So
Yeah.
like if there's nobody there, they still have to sign in?
Well, if there's nobody there, they just sign in anyway, and then usually if the girls are right there, they'll just say, come on in, they don't have to sign in, but if they're right there at the time. But otherwise, it's just nice if everybody just signs in, so that, if there is someone out there waiting for some reason, then they're getting everybody in order. But no, if somebody just walks up and there's nobody there, they'll just take them in. They don't have to sign.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Kind of
And then you touched on the tax statements, or the valuation notices are coming up.
Yeah, the valuation notices is Luke's area, and I don't know if Carol.
I talked to him this morning, and he said they think they got pretty much everything ready to go, and they've run some stuff to make sure it's correct and calculating correct. So
okay. Yep, so it won't be long, and we can send the tax statements up to Masters Touch to our vendor. And once we do that, then it's once we do that, they create the file and produce the statements and then send it to us for proofing. And that's usually like a 1 to 3 day process, 1 to 2 days for sure. And then once we send the file back, the final file back, it's usually 7 to 10 working days before the statements get sent out. But I was told the other day that it is now like 10 days because they have so many, counties. They just took on Fillmore County this year, and they're taking on a lot of different counties. So I think they've got more counties to deal with. So she said it's a 10-day working process before the statements will be mailed out to our taxpayers after the final file has been proofed and approved.
Good.
As a reminder for me, when is our valuation meeting with the public?
We haven't said that
Haven't
yet.
said it yet.
It's usually in June.
It's in June. We don't have a date yet. Okay.
I thought we did. We discussed it maybe, but maybe.
Was it the 8th?
Luke usually sets that. I think he said it already. Let me look at, oh wait, no, here, I got the file right here.
I know he's got all the meetings with the townships
For the
within 2
township.
weeks.
Yeah, I guess maybe, no, we have not, well, that's not on here. Right, it just goes in the township of the cities, but,
I have an email.
All right.
June 14th.
That's
Okay.
not firmed up yet, but right, Carol?
You'll have to.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
It wasn't said.
And the local boards are April 25th through May 6th.
Right. Well, Luke's letter generated a lot of, it was a good informational article in the paper. you know, and people read that, but then when they talk with other people to tell them, it kind of gets lost in translation as it goes down the chain. But because I've gotten a few calls saying, what the hell, 20%? You know, no, that's not the levy. That's not the levy. That's the valuation. So, and this is going to be for 23 values, not this year's values. And so I think as a board, we should be conscious of what our levy is going to be for 23, given the fact that people's evaluations have gone up a lot across the board. So, and I've when the people have called me and asked me questions, they stop me on the street. I tell them that this is across the county. So it doesn't mean your taxes should go up that much because it's going to be, but there is going to be certain areas where it is going to be, you know, like Brownsville, Shore Acres. Yep. And given the fact of what sales have been doing, I mean, it's crazy. It's just what, you know, what land values have done and what houses have been doing. This is what's generating it. And the tax code in the state of Minnesota is one of the most complicated and cumbersome ones we've got in the country. So that just makes everything magnified. So
When I was at the city of La Crescent council meeting last night, and that came up, and, you know, we don't have control over the values. We only have control over the budget and the levy. You know?
correct. Yep.
And so those are two separate issues, and that's what I've explained to my people. But then one person asked me, he says, well, when the values go down countywide, or, you know, when the market changes, will there be a reduction in valuation? And that's when the
Yeah, and it
assessor-
should.
yeah,
Yep.
and he'll reevaluate at the time.
Yep.
And then that adjusts things downward, I believe, too. Would that be a correct way to say it, Carol?
Typically, it doesn't go down as much as it
Goes up, yeah.
It'll depend on the sale.
Well, the thing is when things are going up, we're usually hindsight, but we're seeing this thing happening. We don't just go say, hey, we're gonna raise it. We're not gonna, we see the market is selling stuff for too much and whatever. So I guess we just keep in mind that we control the budget, not the values.
Correct.
Is how I try to
Yep,
explain it.
that's a good way of putting it.
That's true.
And the thing is, you gotta be between 90 and 105. If you're under the 90, we bring them up to try and get into that 90s category.
Right.
If it's over 105, we'll bring it back down, but not down to 90, we'll bring it below 105.
Yeah.
So the increase may not be as much as the decrease, depending on the sales studies. You just have to stay in that range.
Well, and what's frustrating is for people is that not everybody owns their property to sell it.
Right.
And that's why I wish the Department of Rev would calculate and look at that stuff differently. But that's above our pay grades.
We prefer it to be simple.
Yeah.
Right. I've been noticing on with the surplus is up to 9 point some billion now.
Yeah, it changed over the weekend.
So they're trying to get the Senate's trying to get the Social Security tax eliminated, but they're getting pushback from the House. So see what happens there. I guess that
It's the sustainability part of that. It's easy to push it back now while you got a surplus, but then a couple of years from now,
When
I
you
mean, it's a
don't,
$3-4 billion difference in collections.
right.
but
There was also the controversy where the lower income people probably don't pay tax on their social security anyway. So it would appear that you'd actually be giving higher income people a break. if you didn't have Social Security at all. That was another.
but we're one of the only a few states that still do it. So
6 or 7.
6, I think there's 6 states that still do it. Well, 7 probably does.
anything, I guess that's all I got.
Right. Well, I commented about being at La Crescent last night, and that's the only thing. So pretty much All I had to say at this end, nothing else since last week.
Anybody else got anything we want to talk about today?
Tell any job seekers, that the career fair is next Wednesday. It's
Mhm.
open to the public from 1 to 4 at the Old Crescent Area Event Center. And
Okay,
we'll mention it again next week, but
Mhm.
Good.
More updates and stuff coming up. Public comment, anything?
I just have one thing. Do we need a motion on this meeting for the June? Because that has to go in the statements. Do you want, is it gonna be June 14th?
Well, you should probably.
For
contact Luke. Well, they can't really make a motion right now.
Well, no, it's not in the action. Can we do it next week, Donna? Would that be, or is it gonna, because you wanted to get that,
Does June 14th work
We
for you?
Can't send statements out then.
Obviously, it works for Luke, so.
we could have a consensus and then make it official, but here, no.
To get it printed, we can have a consensus. and
Let's see, the
formalize it.
14th of June.
We're gonna have to have it on the statements. So we need.
Flag Day, that's Flag Day, that'd be perfect.
It's usually 6 to 7.
Yeah.
So,
I would be okay with it.
I'll be all right.
That's be the evening, right?
It's usually like 6 to 7. We have to be there an hour
At
but
least an hour.
for that one.
Well,
I'm
a
gonna be out of
consensus would be
town.
fine, I think, for that. And then we'll take action on it for next week.
okay, so I'll put it on the statement. It's June 14th then,
What he wants, that should
on
be-
evaluation notices.
Yes, put it in as an action item for sure, but you have the consensus.
Alrighty.
Anybody else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion, I guess I can to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I guess that one carries too. Have a good day, everybody.